On today's show, we're going to talk about the CFB Cold War that's going on between Brett Yarmark and Greg Sankey. We're also going to talk about the top ACC quarterback reboots. We're going to go into my transfer portal playbook and how to build a team in 10 weeks, brought to you by the Conference USA, and much more on this jam-packed episode. You was looking for your new plug for everything you need to know in the college football world? Well, look no further, my friend. Shake my hand. It's nice to meet you. I'm Moon, and this is Word of CFB. Let's go. Hey, welcome to the show. It's your boy Moon back at it again with more college football news, headlines, and the stories that keep you connected to the game. This is World of CFB, my podcast brought to you by CFB Nation, hosted by Bet US, where we get a chance to spotlight the college football world and the entirety of it. From the lowlights and people out there in JUCO doing their thing, we're going to find you. For the people out there in D2 balling out, getting ready for this year, we see you and we're going to give you some love to the ACC Mountain West. From sea to shining sea, World of College Football specializes in keeping you connected to the game all around the country. On today's episode, we're going to talk about something that's brewing behind the scenes. You know, a lot of people don't want to talk about the elephant in the room, but Moon, sign me up to talk about it. I will. We're going to talk about Brett Yormark versus Greg Sankey. We're going to talk about the ACC quarterback positions and some reboots that's happening because everybody knows about, Kevin Jennings and K Klubnik and Eli Holstein. They know that, but they're not aware of some of the transfer portal shakeups that we got in the college football world. So we're going to talk about it on today's show. I appreciate everybody being here in attendance as always. We greatly appreciate you sharing, watching, supporting the content from myself and also from the brand of CFB Nation. We can't do it without you. We greatly appreciate you. And special shout out to our sponsors, Bet US. Let's get into it, man. We got so little time to work with and so many headlines to get into. Coming up first on Around the World, welcome to CFB Overdrive. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a blacktop road, somewhere between the swamps of the SEC country and the windbrush plains of the Big 12 territory, and the air is heavy with tension. There are no fans in the stands. There's no bands playing, no anything noise related. All that is canceled out. And all you really hear is just a faint hum of something shifting underneath the surface of college football. It's like a rumbling. And at the end of one road, you see Greg Sankey, all tidy, calculated, buttoned up, but he's wearing the weight of an entire $1 billion machine on his shoulders. Then you have the other guy on the other end of the road, Brett Gilmark, sleeves rolled up. He got that voice that's sharp, crispy, but he's walking fast towards the middle of this road with no intention of slowing down. A New York executive turned college football revolutionary that's tired of being waiting to be let into the building. That's why he came in to try to kick the door down. And here we are in the middle of the sports Cold War. No missiles, no troops, just one college football playoff format and one vote, one vision of what Saturdays are supposed to be this upcoming fall. Let's take a drone shot look where the dirt line was drawn in the sand in Orlando. Picture this. It's late May. The sports world is on cruise control right now, but inside of a polished conference room lined with palm trees and playoff brackets, Brett Yormark finally stood up and he did not flinch. He said, "We don't want gimmies. We want to earn it on the field." That quote That wasn't just a press conference soundbite, bro. That was a warning shot. And it cracked like thunder through a sport that's been quietly dividing, and we're getting further and further apart when it comes to the semantics. And I feel like Brett Yarmark wasn't just defending the Big 12. He was calling out the soul of the sport that's rotten because it's creeping into the heart of college football, the power hungry and the money hungry things that we don't really care about, but they are affecting our sport. And now we get to a point where prestige starts to outweigh performance on the actual football field. This is the way some of the other commissioners feel because, look, the SEC and the Big Ten have already made it clear they want 4 guaranteed spots, regardless of what the scoreboard says, eye test, or what the reality is in the sport. And I feel like that's not competition. That's consolidation. And Yormark, man, he rolled up them sleeves, man, and he brought that hammer, man. But let's be honest and let's keep it a buck, because in this world, college football, we have the average fan that hears the 5+11 model and they see, what does that mean, Mo? Well, it's just math. You get 5 automatic bids for the highest ranked conference champions. Then you have 11 at large for everybody else that actually proved it on the field. It's messy. It's diluted. It's merit based, and it's college football at its core where we are right now. But let's compare that to where we see what the SEC and the Big Ten are trying to do in this college football playoff. They want 4 auto bids apiece: 4 for the Big Ten, 4 for the SEC, 2 for the ACC, 2 for the Big 12. Then you got 1 for the top G5 team, 3 leftover spots if they behave and sit down at the table and don't say nothing. That's not a bracket, bro. That's a boardroom. That's a country club dressed as the college football playoff. And Brett Yarmark, he's not just exposing it. He's got the flamethrower and he's torching that guy, because what he's really asking all of us is, if Saturdays don't matter anymore, what are we even doing here? And the sidelines are speaking the same language, and it's speaking loud. Arizona State's Kenny Dillingham saw firsthand his team shocked the sport last year. They weren't supposed to make it. Nobody picked them, and yet they did. So now when people try to lock up the bracket and gatekeep community and gatekeep opportunity, he's got every right to push back. He said, every year is a new year. The portal changes everything. Let the best teams in. Sonny Dykes, TCU's head coach, started smelling the smoke from that 2022 TCU run where they got walloped by Georgia. But he said it best. This isn't the NFL. You don't hand divisions a bid. That's politics. That's not football. That's the core of the movement. Even the coaches know. The players know. They don't want charity. They just want a chance, bro. And that's what makes this war even more chilling. Because while players live in this chaos, some execs want to control it. And this is where everything started to go public. Your boy Greg Sankey, pictured on the screen, got a chance to voice how he feels, and people are calling him out for it. But he's standing up for what is right, in my opinion. You got Greg Sankey, who's coming in. Appreciate you, bro. What's up, governor? Yo, you got Greg Sankey, who seems like he's all for the drama. He's the SEC's chess master. And when he heard what Brett Yarmark said and what Commissioner Phillips of the ACC said, talking about doing what's best for the sport, he said, I don't need lectures from others about the good of the game. That's not shade, bro. That's a flex. It's shot from the mountaintop like, hey, Big 12, you can't get up here. Sorry for yelling in the air, my boy. But you get the point. Greg Sankey just looked like, he looked like he was entertained by it. But ultimately, Brett Yarmark leaned back, smiled, hit the rock away. And he had that New York calm that you see with Brett Yarmark. I see your bluff and I raise you a conference. Because all of this smoke is not about personality. It's about posture, how you step. Brett Yarmark is stepping different because he's not stepping like he's just trying to win an argument. He's stepping as he's trying to change the argument. And in doing so, he's reshaping who gets to play in December, January, and on the biggest stages of college football, especially from his conference. So now we got to circle the date. June 18th, Asheville, North Carolina, the next college football playoff summit. There's not going to be any speeches, no highlights, just white papers, TV contracts, and Commissioner Poker Faces trying to see who is calling the bluff. And this one's different because public momentum seems to be behind Brett Yarmark. My vote is behind Brett Yarmark. The fans, they smell the BS from a mile away, man. And they're watching to be honest, they're watching and saying, bro, we're tired of watching the brackets be filled before the games even begin. We're tired of this. Big 12 is underrated. And they're trying to walk into 2025 saying we're going to prove it on the field. But this isn't just about the Big 12 versus the SEC. This is about football versus facade. This is because the old college football, the one that we love and hold dearly to our hearts, the one where bowl tie-ins, blue bloods, and TV execs got first say, yeah, that's dying. And in place is coming a wilder, wackier, messier, more beautiful version of this game that's still the best sport in the world. But the semantics, bro. Brett Yarmark, in short, Brett Yarmark is defending the Tulanes of the world, the Liberties, the Arizona States, the James Madisons, the programs that dare to dream bigger than where they are. They're defending you, Delaware. They're defending Missouri State. Why should you have a play? Why should you not be able to make a bowl game if you overachieve expectations and wipe through the Conference USA? He's defending that type of merit. He's defending the programs out there like Georgia State, Georgia Southern, those programs that's not going to have a chance to be in the college football playoff if it was just based on semantics. He's talking about y'all too. It's not just the Big 12, bro. He's championing the sport because it's all about belief. And in this Cold War, in college football, you're going to have to pick on which side you're on, man. Whether you have to get in based on the merit of your conference or if you actually have to earn it on the field. What side are you on? This is the world of college football. Yes, sir. Best quarterbacks in the Big 12. You already know, my dog. They got Sawyer Robertson, Jalen Daniels. People be forgetting about Jalen Daniels. But Jalen Daniels is coming back trying to be the glue of the Big 12. It's like, hey, man, it's like my 8th year out here. I'm still calling all the shots. Sam Levitt, Sawyer Robertson, Avery Johnson, Baron Morton, Cincinnati's quarterback. Bro, it's loaded. It's loaded. Welcome to the show. Jalen Daniels, please stay healthy. I agree, bro. I agree. Josh Hoover. We can keep going from top to bottom. Even Houston has Connor Weigman, and I'm looking at Houston different because their defense was good last year. Houston didn't give up more than 33 points per all season long. Their defense kept them in games, but when you go scoreless against some teams, you can barely muster up 3 points and you think that that's a good day. Brighter days are in Houston. But what I'm trying to say is when you actually have the product to back it up, like you're not a pushover anymore. And the Big 12 is not no pushover. If you didn't see how quickly Brett Yarmark picked up Arizona State, BYU, Colorado, he added them boys to the Big 12 with so much swiftness and said, we're not waiting on not a damn soul to come in here and take what's ours. We own this territory. We make it happen. We the Big 12. So what? Texas and Oklahoma leave. Oh, bye. We'll see you a postcard. But guess what? At the end of the day, this is all about expansion, and you can't sit here and talk about you're the Southeastern Conference and that you deserve to get 4 spots in without actually having to play the games, bro. And I feel like it's all smoke, and that's why I look at this as an actual college football playoff Cold War. Hey, let me know how you feel about it in the comments, man. Appreciate you. What cam you got? Just a regular cam, webcam. Caden Salter is there. Caden Salter might be the best quarterback in the Big 12, and nobody cares to talk about it. Let's continue on the show, my friend. We got a lot to get to in a short period of time because at 4:00 on the dot, Governor is coming up. Governor of College Football, sponsored by CFB Nation and Bet US. It's coming up to take you into deep dives and a bunch of other around the news, around the world topics in this wild and murky world of college football. Let's continue on with the show because we talked about Sankey, a little bit. Talked about Brett Yarmark a little bit. We talked about a college football playoff going to Miami in this upcoming season in 2026. So, everybody is really going to be exposed in this year. All this trying to hide your bluff, nah, it's not happening. Not happening. And that guy right there, he's going to expose it all. He's going to call it all. This is the world of college football. Let's go into my next segment. Moan back-to-back episodes in 13 hours. Let's go. Appreciate you, King. How to build a team in 10 weeks. Your boy Moan is about to tell you everything you need to know about my transfer portal playbook, and I'm going to use the Conference USA as an example of how to build a team in 10 weeks. I was thinking about it. You know them books that came out a while ago? I think they still come out, like how to build a rocket ship for dummies. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to call y'all dummies, and I didn't want to call myself that either. So I said, let's just cut out all that fluff. We'll just say how to build a playbook in the transfer portal in just 10 weeks and rebuild your team. Conference USA, we love you, man. That's why I'm going to continue to spotlight you. So let's set the scene and bring you into what what the Conference USA is doing, and let's make it visual so you can see it. Picture this. It's 3:44 a.m. and the whiteboard that's on the wall is starting to look like a conspiracy theory. I mean, names are being written and circled and then written again. JUCO tackles from Mississippi. Let's add them to the board. Slot receiver from Tennessee State. Oh, yeah. Go call him up right there, coach. Free safety from D2 football that played at Valdosta State. That man ran a 4.4. But he still don't have a tape pass for week 6 of the season. Still hit him up anyway, coach. The room, it just smells like midnight snacks, coffee, and a bunch of second chances. Into that room, Scotty Walden does not blink. He just swipes on the next huddle clip like it's Tinder. He fires off another text in the group chat and just keeps on moving because in the Conference USA, that's how you build a team. Not in 18 months. No, my friend. In 10 weeks or less. Not with the 5-star campus visits like you see with Alabama, Ohio State, Auburn, NIL signing days like Duke just paid Darian Mensah. Oh, my God. That man check is nasty. Anyways, you build it in a hurry, and that's what you get with the Conference USA because everybody else is trying to catch up. This isn't roster construction, it's roster survival. And nobody plays the game faster than the best conference in the world, the Conference USA. I have high praise because they have all the headlines that just read and drip and ooze with curiosity, chaos, all of those high caliber words that you want to associate. Put that on the Conference USA. Because if there's a model on how to master the chaos, let's look at some key examples in this story. Take a look at Western Kentucky. What's up, Big Red? It's nice to see you. This is where a portal is a system and not a crutch. If there's any way that you can look at this playbook and say, that's how you master chaos, what Tyson Helton is doing at WKU is the perfect example because he did not panic. It's portal precision. He watched 37 players leave out that door and said, oh, okay, that's nice. And that move alone, 37 guys leaving your program in one offseason could have just wrecked the program, buried you, if you might say. But Tyson Helton didn't flinch. That man buttoned it up and said, I'm about to bring in 43 more guys, but not just players. He brought in chemistry fits. He brought in scheme familiarity. He brought in timing, to be honest with you. Look at their quarterback situation with Maverick McIver. I think that's how you say his name. He didn't just transfer in, bro. He brought the whole entire playbook with him, from bringing Rick Bowie, his offensive coordinator from Abilene Christian. He brought in receivers that already know how to run crispy routes and their timings. They could do that in their sleep. He brought in control to a league drowning in disarray. But Tyson Helton doesn't need a 4-year development arc for you. He needs plug and play. He needs mileage. You don't care about potential. He needs miles. And for a league where half the rosters all across the offseason, WKU might be the only team treating the portal like a formation and not a fix. Let's take a drone shot look to El Paso, where they're using the transfer portal as controlled chaos in a matchstick mentality where we can just light it on fire. If Western Kentucky is building a roster with a scalpel, then UTEP is doing it with a flamethrower. They got 30 transfers that came in, two new coordinators, and a quarterback, Malachi Nelson. That's the crown jewel of their class. Highest rated recruit to come in UTEP's doors. They got some JUCO linemen coming in on the far west edge of Texas, making sure that pipeline is secure. That's what Scotty Walden does, bro. And ultimately, that's what Scotty Walden loves. He doesn't need headlines. He just needs speed, swagger, and just enough edge to make people uncomfortable because he rebuilt this team in a matter of weeks, pulling talent from all over the place, from coaches to players, all of them coming in. Assad Hall, a pass rusher from South Carolina State with 11 sacks. Hey, Assad, come on and play with me. Tyler Jones, a safety from Tennessee State, who defends like he's allergic to incompletions. Hey, bro, come over here and play with us, man. Cam Thomas, a reliable slot guy. Yep, he gonna play with a chip on his shoulder. Hey, come on over here and play with me, man. Scotty Walden ain't playing, bro. And he's building a roster that looks clean on the spreadsheet, but when he building it all together, though, it's one that can swing hard on a Sunday, on a Saturday, and make your offensive line reconsider everything by the second quarter. 100%. Let's take a drone shot look to Sam Houston, where last season Sam Houston shocked the league and got 10 wins. Congratulations, Bearcats. But here's the trick. They also rank one of the luckiest teams in college football on the season. And I'm not just saying that just to be fluff or just, they went 6-0 in one score games. That is a bar. Say that again, Mo. They went 6-0 in one score games. Imagine if those games go the opposite way. You could be looking at a 4-8 Sam Houston. But they had some magic, and they made magic out of structure, even if it was duct taped together. Then the offseason came, and it hit like a freight train because there was a lot of changes, from head coach Keeler not being there no more to have to reintroduce everything with Sam Houston. The coaching staff started to shift, and ultimately Phil Longo is coming in as the new head coach in a world where Sam Houston is forgotten about in the state of Texas football. You think about so many other programs before you think about Sam Houston, unless you're a Sam Houston State fan. Let's just be real. Texas A&M, the Texas Longhorns. Like, there's so many universities in there, and you could argue that Chandler Morris and what they was doing at North Texas was more fascinating than what Sam Houston did 2 years ago. So I'm just saying there's a lot of eyes in that state. But Phil Longo is going to continue to double down. And what he loves the most is that air raid approach. And we love the air raid over here at CFB Nation. I mean, he's bringing back Hunter Watson. They got receivers, Phoenix coming in, running backs is just a stable defense. They're going to roll the dice, but that's the calling card of Sam Houston. There are these two stars on the team that they're hoping that production rises. They're FCS standouts out there, but they attack the portal with urgency. Just urgency is what you need for Phil Longo, and I hope that urgency could be sustainable because he needs to catch fire before the gas runs out. 100%. And then you have teams that use the portal like the new kids on the blocks, the first year equations, the Missouri States of the world, Delaware, Kennesaw State. They don't have a roadmap on how to do it. They just get it done. And for the newcomers, this challenge is just everything, bro. This is their get over the hump type of mentality for them. Look at Kennesaw State, for example. They didn't just fire their first ever coach. They're trying to revamp their entire identity from triple option blueprint, what they're known for, to now being a spread attack overnight. And now they're trusting offensive coordinator Mitch Mettello to reinvent the engine that was already got that car on the highway. They got to reinvent it on the fly. In Delaware, they're building it differently. Ryan Carty is going to bring discipline, structure, and is backed by FCS dominance and consistency. They didn't go portal crazy. He didn't really have to. He returned a strong nucleus of prospects and players on that team. He's going to lean into red shirt development. He's going to be in a situation where he's going to dare the rest of the league to keep up with the continuity. And then what you see on the screen with Missouri State, they took the opposite approach. They got a quarterback named Jacob Clark, who's a legitimate FBS caliber arm. He's going to come in and put up some numbers this year for Missouri State. And head coach Ryan Beard, who just brought in some transfers to beef up the trenches, because it's going to be an adjustment going for Conference USA from FTS to Conference USA. They don't want to be in a happy to be here type of situation. They want to be on some why not us type of vibes. And in the Conference USA, this is the real portal era where it's not done in 18 months. It's done in 10 weeks. This is not like the fuel-filled chaos of the SEC where you can buy prospects. It's not like the QB arms race that we see sometimes with the Big Ten. Look at Iowa, for example. Their quarterback situation by itself coming in is the reason why we have so much hope that their offense can be anything more than just mid. There's so many different sides of the sport, and I just wanted to take some time to talk about the Conference USA because these coaches here don't get 2 years to develop, bro. They get 10 weeks to find, sign, and install ball players into the bunch. They live in airports. They refresh Twitter like a stockbroker, and then they beg us to pay attention in doing so, hoping that they can process those receipts for us, man, because the belief is so much more than just depth charts. They're selling playing time with a desperation that feels honest, but and not performative. And that's what you need in college football's fastest league. Not by tempo, but fast because of turnover. And that's what we get with this Conference USA. It's all about turnover. And you need a team that can survive this impact at full speed, my guy. Welcome to the world of college football. I'm your boy Moon. Shake my hand if you made it all the way up to the point in this show. We're cooking with 2 back-to-back episodes. I want to apologize to y'all real quick. I went back and checked my VOD, and I saw that for some reason my audio didn't go through. I was testing out a new scene in the platform, and my audio didn't come through when I did the bloodlines that run deep in the NFL in the 2026 recruiting class, and also for the staple piece in yesterday's show for the QB Island of Misfits. So in the Conference USA, I wanted to give them their proper due. So later on in this week, I'll revisit those episodes and really get you that full segment. So I wanted to apologize to everybody that's out there like, yo, why my audio cut out? It ain't my fault. I didn't do it, man. But you got to just weather the storm and keep going like UTEP did last year. Got to keep weathering the storm. Coming up next on the show, after we talk to our sponsors, we got another jam-packed segment, the main enchilada. QB reboots that is going on in the ACC that can change the trajectory of programs. We're going to talk about it. Hey, Bet US, let them boys know what we got going on, man.
Look at you out here using all these other sports books and you ain't even using the best one. Bet US, get 125% match bonus when you use the promo code CFB Nation. Yeah, you heard me correctly, 125% match bonus on your first deposit using that code CFB Nation. We know that college football is in the off season, even though we don't celebrate that. You know, CFB Nation, we do college football 24/7, but there are plenty of things for you guys to bet on.
Who will have the most wins? OKC Thunder or Cleveland Cavaliers? Can Luka and LeBron make it all mesh to make it to the play-in tournament? Maybe you're a college basketball guy ready to risk it all for Florida to make it to the big dance.
Basketball isn't for you? Maybe you're a football guy. Well, BetUS got you covered with this year's UEFA Championship. Can Liverpool or Barcelona win it all? Will Erling Haaland or Harry Kane lead their teams to victory?
May is going to get popping when the Kentucky Derby hits town. BetUS has you covered in that way too, with all major horse racing events. Point is, type in that promo code CFB Nation and go get that money. Special shout out to our sponsors. We greatly appreciate BetUS and everything that they do. Shout out to the boys and the CFB Nation team. I'm your boy Moon, credential media member of CFB Nation. I get a chance to tour the college football world year-round and immerse myself in this game that I inject into my veins every single day. I really love this, bro. And on this show, I get a chance to talk, really from the heart and where I see college football in the world that is. And it's really shifting and changing so much. The atmosphere, it's picking up right now because we're in June. We're T minus 80 days before the college football season kicks off, and it's gonna be a great one. And we're gonna pay attention to you, man. If you lace up the cleats, you strap it up, we're gonna make sure you talked about, man, and we're gonna give you the love that you deserve and that you earn, quite frankly. Coming up next on today's show, we got the top ACC quarterback reboots that I'm looking forward to, because the quarterback carousel has become an annual event for us. We always look at it and we see who went where. Oh, that's a great fit. Oh no, why did he do that? And now it's time to talk about it. Some time has developed. Spring is now past us. The pollen has now kind of escaped us, unless you're in certain places of the world. But there's certain moves that still shift the entire landscape of the ACC. And I'm going to give you 6 quarterbacks transfers that, not just because of their timing of coming in, but because of the pressure attached to the situation, is the top moves in the ACC according to Moon. Let's get into it. As you see on the thumbnail, we're going to talk about a couple of guys that I really love. Some that I'm not so high on, but all need their due. Coming up first, Carson Beck to Miami, who's a senior now, coming from Georgia. And Carson Beck's arrival in Coral Gables, bro, it's a lot of optics. It's a lot of politics. It's a lot of money. I mean, from Lambos to you name it. But on the field, his play, he's a proven SEC starter. And regardless of him having his moments last year where he didn't live up to the hype, bro. There's moments where we saw him fumble and just throw the bag away. But there's also moments where we had bright spots for say, yo, Carson, you're dealing today. You know what I mean? But they didn't. He gives Mario Cristobal, he raises the floor for him, because Cam Ward, I heard this question asked to me before. Do you feel like Cam Ward leaving, Carson Beck is going to be able to go above that? My answer to that, honestly and respectfully to you, is no. Cam Ward is like that. Cam Ward is number 1 overall for a reason. And there was a world that we were living in just about 365 days ago where we were heading into the 2024 season saying that, dang, Carson Beck just might be one of the best quarterbacks, if not the top quarterback coming out in this next class coming up. But my thing with this is he didn't take a single snap in spring camp, and he's still recovering from that UCL injury. My opinion, that injury was nasty. He's expected to be ready for the opener, which I hope that he is. We want him to be fully healthy. And this whole situation is complicated because he's forced to miss reps, and Miami's Office of Reboot is now under new personnel, and it's not the same. To have the consistency of the offensive line is an absolute blessing. To have the consistency of the running back room, a blessing. You know what I mean? They did add some veteran pieces to the team. I'm not gonna hold you. And Mario Cristobal is a damn good recruiter. I'm not gonna hold you. But it all comes down to Carson Beck's health for real. And beyond that, it comes down to his anticipation, because he is an anticipatory thrower, and he is an accurate guy when he's willing and dealing. It's deeper than just the dig routes. It's the comeback routes. He knows how to put them on money. He knows how to throw dump offs. He knows how to hit the intermediate to short range window with ease. He's not a deep ball type of guy, in my opinion. That's not that. But can he give them an elevated floor from a drop off that you would think that would happen with Cam Ford? I think so. And I think that he's gonna bring them less room for error. Miami has less room for error this year with the number 1 guy on my board for biggest transfer shakeups this upcoming season. Coming up next, number 2, Miller Moss to Louisville. Previous school, USC in the Fighting Trojans. This kid is getting a bad rap. And I'm going to come out and just be honest with you. There's people out there that really think that Miller Moss is a bum, as if he didn't throw for 6 touchdowns and we wasn't just hyping this man up last offseason because he did after the Caleb Williams debacle. And you're like, oh, who is this kid in the Holiday Bowl? this kid, he's still like that. Like, it's like KD. When KD was doing that press conference, and he was like, I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am, right? It's the same thing. It's Miller Moss. I know who he is. And for the one percenters like you and I that's watching the show, I'm looking at this with a full systems go, because he's entering into Jeff Brom's system with the All-American running back in Isaac Brown, and then a guy behind him that is just as cold. They got a stable of wide receivers. The table is set, man. And now it's just on to Miller Moss to deliver. He has to deliver in this infrastructure that they have and the identity at Louisville. When he was at USC, he was praised before for his film room command, his clean footwork, and he went through a Big Ten test of a schedule that didn't allow him to finish the season as a starter because they moved on to Jaden Mayava. But he had his moments, bro. Lincoln Riley's team lost so many one-score games last year, bro. But Lincoln Riley's team was competitive. I'm looking at Miller Moss, and I'm saying Louisville's offensive line lost 4 starters, meaning that they're going to have to navigate in this pressure early. That is a red flag. I'm not going to be the person that's just trying to sell you hope. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. They got an offensive line situation that's still trying to gel together. They're going to have to be forced to do that quickly. But Miller Moss is a guy that you want, man. And anybody that fell in love with Tyler Shuck, I don't know why you would, but anybody that fell in love with him, they're going to see Miller Moss and be like, who is this kid? Let's take a look to the next player on our board. Number 3, Tommy Castellanos to Florida State. FSU fans, we're going to probably do a deep dive on you coming up this week. But no quarterback carries more emotional weight in 2025 than Tommy Castellanos. After Florida State's stunning and compelling 2-10 season last year, head coach Mike Norvell handed the offense to Gus Malzahn and brought him in, and then brought in the most unpredictable playmaker on the board. Tommy Castellanos isn't polished, but he is fearless. He turned heads at Boston College for sure. Got a chance to talk to him multiple times over the course of the last 2 years. And what I love about him most is his off-script playmaking and his dual threat explosion. And now Florida State fans are going to get a chance to love him because he's playing with Gus Malzahn in a system that is designed to maximize chaos. And this fit is very compelling. And so is the pressure for Florida State this year. Mike Norvell is on the hot seat. And Florida State didn't just need a quarterback that can just come by and get by. They needed a reset button. And hopefully Tommy Castellanos can be the spark or maybe just a storm. Let's talk about the next one. Ricky Collins to Syracuse, and Fran Brown is loving the move right now. Fran Brown named Ricky Collins starter early in the spring, bro. And this is after losing FBS passing leader Kyle McCord to the NFL. Syracuse, they made a quiet but strategic pivot, and they got Angeli from Notre Dame, and then they also brought in Ricky Collins from LSU. Now, Ricky, he's smart, experienced. He's been through the fire. I think he can provide some stability for you. Under Fran Brown and coordinator Jeff Nixon, they're trying to get just that, stability, because Syracuse wants rhythm over risk. And I think that Collins fits this vision for what they want with their team. He's going to give them a controlled, efficient offense, and hopefully they can design it behind this rebuilt offensive line to come in and have some explosion and get some plays. Now, I understand Syracuse lost a lot. They lost a lot. I'm not saying that Collins is going to lead the league in passing or Syracuse is going to win 9 games again, but I'm saying that he's going to be the reason why they have some life in the quarterback room in this position. There's a QB battle that's still emerging and playing out, but I'm projecting that Ricky Collins is going to seal the deal, and he's going to beat out Steve Angeli's steadiness, and they're going to choose Collins' upside over the steadiness. Collins is going to bring that juice, man, as a runner, downfield, arm strength. You love it, and that's going to push defenses vertically. Last year, what did Syracuse do more than any other team in college football? Stretch the field vertically. So many vertical balls. And a lot of the reason why I feel like people have a high evaluation on Trevor Pena is because of the production that they have. But if you look beyond the scenes and look at the surface, beyond the surface, you would see that most of their routes that they ran in that offense were go balls and 9 routes. trusting him to win in 50-50 situations. And that's what they're going to try to do, but they're going to align it in a different way this year with a coach, new coordinator that's coming in. 2026 and beyond is still up in the air for Syracuse, but where we are in 2025, I think that they can accelerate their timeline, and I don't really feel like Syracuse is the bottom of it. They might be still at the bottom tier of the ACC, but they're not at the very bottom. I think there's a lot of hope. Coming up next, let's talk about Gio Lopez and Bill Belichick, because Gio Lopez is coming from South Alabama, and Bill Belichick is taking over as one of the most dramatic offseason stories that just led to a lot of headlines and spotlighting eyes on North Carolina. Gio Lopez might be the biggest under the radar weapon that in move that happened in the transfer portal that really caught my attention. Because when I found out that Gio Lopez was going to Chapel Hill, a 6'1" lefty with speed, rhythm, and I realized that Gio Lopez was top 25 nationally in total offense last year at 274 yards per game, I'm looking at Bill Belichick like, yo, you now have a creative tool to try to reshape this entire offense, bro. Amarion Hampton is gone. Like, the offensive line is retooling. He gonna have Max Johnson gonna compete with, but Lopez's ability to extend plays, his offensive tempo that he likes to play with, him stepping up into that leadership role for this team, 100%. The risk, though, he hasn't faced power forward defenses weekly, like week in and week out. The upside, he might be the most Bill Belichickian quarterback in college football, and they got their guy. Efficient, calm, unshaken. That's exactly what Gio Lopez can be. Last but not least, Chandler Morris to Virginia. North Texas is his previous school, and he lit it up. He also was at TCU too. He's thrown for over 5,000 career yards across two systems. This kid is a quarterback. And Tony Elliott needed a quarterback after the Anthony Calandrea situation. Now, Virginia has quietly, under Tony Elliott, this is one of their strongest rosters since he took over the job. And particularly when I look at the offensive line, I look at the wide receiver position. I'm not saying that Chandler Morris is going to come in and just carry this entire program. He don't have to. I think his job is just to stabilize, and he has to take command, in which I've seen him do. And I think he's already impressing people out there in Virginia. He came out and said already that, I'm trying to embrace that leadership role. And he said, I want to win the conference. The kid that just came from North Texas just pulled up, new kid on the block, and said, I don't know none of y'all, but I'm trying to win the whole entire thing. I got to take him seriously, bro, because I seen him do it. 5,000 career yards, it's going to be an adjustment, but he can get it done. These 6 quarterbacks that I just talked about, from Chandler Morris to Gio Lopez, Ricky Collins to Tommy Castellanos, Miller Moss to Carson Beck, they are all inflection points in this season, and I think that they will dictate what their programs become this fall. If the sport is obsessed with recruiting stars out there and arm talent, 2025 is going to remind us that fit, resilience, timing, all of that matter more than just highlight reels that you get in. And for these 6 quarterbacks, the time is now. This is the world of college football. Welcome to the show, my friend, on a great Tuesday, June the 3rd, year of our Lord, as I take a sip of the shoutouts of Arizona. It's great to have you in the building. I'll try not to laugh. Hey, shout out Josh Pate, bro. Josh Pate be taking a sip of the shoutouts too. I love people that be putting out content. I be watching a lot of content when I'm not watching mine. I'm watching so many different creators because it's a lot of people that's doing really good for the sport. But on World of College Football, we want to differentiate ourselves because we don't just talk about the Jimmies and the Joes. We talk about the X's and the O's. We don't just talk about the high-profile caliber teams like the Ohio States and the Michigans. No, I'm sorry I put them in the same sentence, bro. I'm sorry. We don't talk about just Alabama and Texas. We talk about the schools that matter. You know what I mean? to me. So on this show, that's what our focus and that's what our goal is. After this quick ad break, we're gonna take a look at our final segment, closing out another jam-packed show, and we're gonna get into why you need to pay attention to the rebuild in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Look at you out here using all these other sports books and you ain't even using the best one. BetUS. Get 125% match bonus when you use the promo code CFB Nation. Yeah, you heard me correctly. 125% match bonus on your first deposit using that code CFB Nation. We know that college football is in the off season, even though we don't celebrate that. You know, CFB Nation, we do college football 24/7, but there are plenty of things for you guys to bet on.
Who will have the most wins? OKC Thunder or Cleveland Cavaliers? Can Luka and LeBron make it all mesh to make it to the play-in tournament? Maybe you're a college basketball guy ready to risk it all for Florida to make it to the big dance.
Basketball isn't for you? Maybe you're a football guy. Well, BetUS got you covered with this year's UEFA Championship. Can Liverpool or Barcelona win it all? Will Erling Haaland or Harry Kane lead their teams to victory?
May is going to get popping when the Kentucky Derby hits town. BetUS has you covered in that way too, with all major horse racing events. Point is, type in that promo code CFB Nation and go get that money. Go get that money, twin. We appreciate you, BetUS. We appreciate you, person that's watching. Thank you for watching the content, taking the time to digest it, and rocking through us with this off season, even though we don't call it an off season. Keeping you connected to the pulse of the game in a way that other people just aren't. We respect you. We respect your time. And so thank you for giving it to us. We greatly wanted to just tell you thank you. Let's get into the next part of our show, man. We got to close out with a bang, right? We got to travel to Raleigh. And first, before I do this, special shout out to Miss Annabelle. She's just so pleasant. She's one of my favorite communications people in the world. I just love her so much. But Miss Annabelle, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is, because people need to understand that even though NC State is 6-6 last year, it wasn't just all good and it wasn't just all bad. It was just a myriad of other things. But your boy Moan is gonna break it all down for you. Let's talk about that team in Raleigh. You could almost hear the concrete breaking on last year. After a 6-6 season that felt longer than the calendar allowed, there was no pats on the back, good job. There was no clinging to silver linings. It was just a quiet truth ringing off the walls of Murphy Football Center. North Carolina State collapsed, and particularly their defense. And that reckoning came pretty fast, because this wasn't a gradual dip. This was a tailspin. Think about it. When we thought about NC State, we looked at them as always a stellar defensive unit. They could always ring out 10 wins. We just banked on them saying, oh yeah, they're going to finish the season with 10 wins. I don't know how, but somehow, some way, NC State is going to find a way to finish with over 9-10 wins. That's just standard. But last year, their defensive unit that ranked among the nation's top 30 just 2 years ago crumbled, and they allowed 29.3 points per game. And that was just in ACC play, bro. Now, we saw blown coverages, we saw busted leverage, we saw missed tackles, we saw everything that you can imagine with NC State. And when we talk about this program, Dave Duran drew the line. He had to draw the line after they got scorched by Miami 45-21. He had to draw the line after you let one slip out of your hands 38-27 in Blacksburg, because the Wolfpack weren't just getting beat by teams, they were getting exposed. So Dave Duran went to the drawing board again, and he knew what had to happen. He knew the buttons that he had to push. He let go of Robert and I. Sorry, Robert. Thank you for your time, but you got to slide, my twin. He also made some changes. Longtime defensive coordinator Tony Gibson. Hey, here's the door. Thank you for coming in. But we got to get better. And they brought in a guy by the name of DJ Elliott. DJ Elliott is a battle-hardened play caller who just was linebackers coach with Philadelphia Eagles, who's coaching the Flyer of Florida State. He built toughness at Kentucky. And I'm looking at this hire as a gym. He's not going to bring just a scheme. He's going to allow them to have some structure now. And this North Carolina State defense is going to have a fearless leader. The 4-2-5 system that he plans on bringing in, it doesn't just look different on paper when you're looking at X's and O's. It's going to move different, feel different. And the goal is simple. You got to eliminate any gray area whatsoever and simplify alignments, bring gap integrity back to college football, and bring gap integrity back to Raleigh, North Carolina. And it starts in the trenches, bro. Elliott, he's not coming by himself. He brought some transfer portal guys that came in, like Kenny Soares from Northwestern, who's a rangy linebacker with Big Ten battles and scars under his belt. And he's going to shore up that weak side. Sebastian Harsh from Wyoming, 6'3". He's an edge-bending muscle of a man with 10 career sacks. He's trying to get active on that defensive line. And Jamel Johnson, who came in from Temple, who, to be honest, he's a vet. He's a vet. He's going to be a coach out there on the field for them. You add in JUCO safety Nate Williams. You brought in transfer from Charlotte, Devin Dunn. And now you're seeing that this ain't just another patch job. This is like a full-level gut and remodel of this house. Coach Duran was quoted during spring practices saying, "We had to be honest with ourselves. The performance wasn't where it needed to be. And I'm going to be honest with you, Dave Duran. I'm not understanding how you even have your job right now. But since they are trusting you to get the job done, let's keep it a buck with you and build this whole foundation on straight ball talk. North Carolina State surrendered 30-plus points in 5 of its last 7 games in 2024. This defense allowed opposing quarterbacks to complete 66.8% of their passes. This is where you go from elite to inefficient in just under 12 months. And I have to look at the guy in charge and say, what are we doing? Then I look deeper and I said, Coach Duran, the locker room knew it. The coaches knew it. The fans felt it. This defense wasn't the same defense anymore. It was like communication just went silent. Confidence ghosted like Casper. And that's why Coach Elliott and this entire defensive staff, they're not just trying to chase talent. They got to get voices that come in and guys that play real snaps, not guys that just been on multiple teams, but guys that play real snaps, guys that have been in the heat and that are not going to fold in the fourth quarter. You talk about DB's coach, Freddie Autry-Lindsey, who came in and said, we needed more voices who play real snaps. That is a bar because this room is not now built on accountability. You look at the backbone of this team, Aiden White, Khalil Williams, the 2 DBs left standing with that leadership tag on them. I'm looking at them. They both missed spring. I'm expecting them to be full go for fall when the season starts. But they are the 2 that I'm looking at, and Aiden White and Khalil Williams, that are going to be the key reasons why this new look defense is going to gel faster than expected. Because I have some optimism, NC State. The reason why I have some optimism, because if you look closely and you listen even closer, there's a new cadence behind center. Not just a new quarterback for 2025, but he got his bumps and bruises in 2024. When Grayson McCall went down, insert CJ Bailey, who came in on the scene. And to be honest with you, CJ Bailey was pretty impressive as a freshman quarterback coming in. He finished with 2.2 K yards, 17 touchdowns, 64% completion percentage, and 5 interceptions. He grew through the 2024 season. And the offense is going to be built around this potential superstar quarterback that just gets glossed over in all the rest of the ACC. Now, the reason why NC State is being punished because they let their star wide receiver go, KC, the savior, Concepcion. Kevin is leaving and going to Texas A&M, and this one hurts. This hurts my soul to even have to think about, because there was endless times throughout the 2024 season where you said KC Concepcion is the reason why they even won that game. It's because of him. He led the team in receptions, touchdowns, and yards, and he led the team emotionally. He was a spark plug. He was the juice. He was a momentum changer. He was the guy saying, "Hey, just get him the ball." I just love KC Concepcion, but he's not coming back, NC State fans, no matter how hard we want to. So we're going to have to trust on CJ Bailey's growth this year. OC Kurt Roper, he ended up talking about CJ Bailey in this offseason and said he sees the field like a junior. His poise is real. Coming in as a true sophomore, he has the weapons around him at NC State. Hollywood Smothers is a bruiser type running back with some pop, who went 2 straight 700-yard seasons, and he's looking to have his biggest year to date. They still got Noah Rogers, the 6'2" speed transfer from Ohio State. He's going to try to be a one-on-one problem for them. They got Wesley Grimes, who wins in the red zone, and he's going to win with some strength. They got Justin Jolly, a glue guy at tight end, who doesn't drop the ball, and I'm looking at him to take a massive leap in production this year. But ultimately, it all leans on CJ Bailey, who's reliable, solid, not flashy, but he had his moments of growth in 2024. I saw CJ Bailey with my own eyes when he came to Atlanta, Georgia to play Georgia Tech in a night game. I saw it, and he dominated. We said, we can't stop that guy. We can't. Whether it's and he used his legs. Most people look at his frame being 6'6" and 6'5". You're like, yo, this is a pocket prototypical quarterback. Nah, he can move too when he actually wants to. But now he doesn't have to do it just by himself. It's not going to be just some one guy. I think this team can actually gel more because they don't have to rely on just the whole savior nature of KC Concepcion last year or their running backs last year. CJ Bailey posted the highest completion percentage for a freshman starter in the ACC last year with a minimum of 250 attempts. NC State opens this season with UMass, but then things get spicy, bro. I could go down and spend another 10 minutes going on their schedule, but I don't have to. I'm just going to tell you straight like this. We're going to find out everything we need to about NC State early on in the year. And it's going to come when they travel to Neyland Stadium in Tennessee, and it's going to be checkerboard hell. Tennessee, they're projecting as a top 25 team. Some will have them higher in the top 25. Some will have them lower. Depends. Some have them all the way outside. But make no mistake, that atmosphere with 100,000 plus strong and people that scream Rocky Top at the top of their lungs is going to be an environment. You rewind to last season, NC State played Tennessee in the Duke's May of kickoff and got smacked all the way around. As the young kids would like to say, belt up, you can finish the rest. Will the new defense communicate underneath duress from this Tennessee defense? Will Bailey stay calm in the face of SEC blitz? And more importantly, which version of NC State actually shows up to compete? I'm looking at this team and saying that they didn't just change coordinators. They weren't just in a situation where they just swapping and plugging and playing guys. Nah, they had to make some key structure changes to this program. And this rebuild, it's going to help change the tone of the program to where we can get back to a place where we take NC State seriously again in this ACC conversations. There used to be a time when we're looking at NC State like we got to book them into top 3 ACC just because they're going to book out 10 wins and we can bet against them, but they still keep churning out victories. I'm asking myself in the CFB Nation audience out there, can NC State get the job done? Can they replace the fire? And can they replace the fire that they had with KC Concepcion this year and just get it from different ways? Can Hollywood Smothers turn into a feature back for the system? Can CJ Bailey take that next step in his sophomore campaign where he put up 2.2K yards last year and was kind of efficient with the balls? You know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm looking for. Can CJ Bailey's voice grow louder in the program? and allow this team to really rally behind their quarterback. 2025, it's not about returning to form. It's about returning and discovering a new form. And this isn't about 2024 anymore. And this 2025 NC State football team, my eyes is on their defense more importantly than their offense. Their defense has to take monumental steps up. They have to in order to be in the conversation for an ACC championship game when every other team around you is getting better right now. That is my breakdown of the rebuild in Raleigh. And I'm your boy Moon. And that's why NC State has everybody's eyes on you in 2025 because you can be the chaos breeders. You can be the guys that come in and just shake up the whole entire party. The year that we think that we can't expect nothing from you, you can come out and pop off 8, 9, 10 wins, and we'd be like, dang, we did not see this coming. But you heard it here first in the world of college football. It's been a jam-packed show, bro. We greatly appreciate you for tuning in on this early day episode. I went late last night, started off early again today, trying to flood you with content right now. Again, apologies about yesterday's episode and in the parts of the episode that just went out. I'll redo those parts in the later segments in the week because I still want you to be able to know what's going on, specifically in the 2026 recruiting class and with the Conference USA's Island of Misfit Coaches. So I didn't forget about that. Gotta hold myself accountable, just like I'm asking them to hold themselves accountable. In NC State, for a jam-packed episode where I talked about the top ACC quarterback reboots going on, from that to talking about how Brett Yormark stood up for everybody. He did not flinch and move a muscle and said, we don't want gimmies. We want to earn it on the field. Where we talked about other things going on in the college football world in the Conference USA and how to build a team in 10 weeks and not in 18 months. To the last feature segment about the team that I have high expectations for, the NC State Wolfpack. NC State has to get back to their culture and lean into it because there's something special about Raleigh, North Carolina. They just have to lean fully into this rebuild and understand that CJ Bailey is a guy. He can be the centerpiece. It's not a wide receiver. It's that quarterback. I am your boy Moon, and it's been a pleasure to be with you. We got the governor coming up right after me, and make sure you don't touch that dial. CFB Nation giving you content all throughout this off season because there is none here at CFB Nation. Until next time, my friend. Appreciate every single one of you tuning in. All I ask is that you share the content. So I'll see you later, bro. One.